Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree. Been wondering just what you mean to me. Oh, Christmas tree. Honestly, it's...
Hi, and thank you for tuning in. So in this video, I'll give some suggestions on holiday books by Black authors. And I decided to do this on my channel because I recently came across an author whose name is Wes Moore. I saw him speak during a virtual event and really got a chance to learn more about his story. And then that made me decide to purchase one of his books. And then there were other recommendations. So that's why I decided to get these books that I have also shared with my brothers. So I would recommend this book to anyone who's interested in learning about Black culture and just the narrative of Black life written by Black authors. So the author Wes Moore, the first book of his that I got is called The Other Westside. And then I'll read the back of all of the books to give the description. Two kids named Wes Moore were born blocks apart within a year of each other. Both grew up fatherless in similar Baltimore neighborhoods and had difficult childhoods. Both hung out on street corners with their crews. Both ran into trouble with the police. How then did one grow up to be a Rhodes Scholar, decorated veteran, White House fellow, and business leader, while the other ended up a convicted murderer serving a life sentence? Wes Moore, the author of this fascinating book, sets out to answer this profound question in alternating narratives that take readers from heart-wrenching losses to moments of surprising redemption. The Other Wes Moore tells the story of a generation of boys trying to find their way in a hostile world. And so while purchasing this book, other recommendations did pop up. So the second book that I got by Wes Moore is titled The Fiery Reckoning in American City, 5 Days. And then I'll read a little bit of this book's description. When Freddie Gray was arrested for possessing an illegal knife in 2015, he was, by eyewitness accounts that video evidence later confirmed, treated roughly as police loaded him into a vehicle. By the end of his trip in the police van, Gray was in a coma from which he would never recover. In the wake of long history of police abuse in Baltimore, this killing felt like the final straw. It led to weeks of protests, then 5 days, described alternately as a riot or an uprising that set the entire city on edge and caught the nation's attention. Wes Moore is a Rhodes Scholar, best-selling author, decorated combat veteran, former White House fellow, and CEO of the Robin Hood Foundation, one of the largest anti-poverty nonprofits in the nation. While attending Gray's funeral, he saw every stratum of the city come together. Grieving mothers, members of the wealthy, elite, activists, and the long-suffering citizens of Baltimore, all looking to comfort one another, but also looking for answers. He knew that when they left the church, these factions would spread out to their own corners, but that the answers they were all looking for could be found only in the city as a whole. And then another book that I have is called Between the World and Me by Ta-nehisi. The story of race in America is a brutally simple one, written on flesh. It is the story of the Black body, exploited through slavery and segregation, and today still disproportionately threatened, locked up, and killed in the streets. What is it like to inhabit a Black body and find a way to live within it? And how can America reckon with its fraught racial history? Between the World and Me is a Ta-nehisi attempt to answer those questions. Presented in the form of a letter to his adolescent son, Coates shares the story of his awakening to the truth about his place in the world through a series of revelatory experiences, from Howard University to Civil War battlefields, from the south side of Chicago to Paris, from his childhood home to the living rooms of mothers whose children's lives were taken as American plunder. Beautifully woven from personal narrative, reimagined history and fresh, emotionally charged reportage, Between the World and Me illuminates the past, confronts the present, and offers a transcendent vision for a way forward. And then the final book that I have is A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask by Dr. Claud Anderson. For nearly 500 years, Blacks in America have lived within a continuum of socioeconomic systems, legalized slavery, Jim Crow segregation, and political correctness that maldistributed nearly 100% of the nation's wealth, land, resources, rights, privileges, and controls of all levels of government into the hands of whites. Simultaneously, those systems consigned Blacks into an impoverished, powerless underclass. So these are all books that I look forward to either continuing to read, and then I have shared them with my brothers. So again, feel free to check out the description box with the details for each book. And otherwise, have a great rest of your day and take care.